Right now at 5, a fatal motorcycle crash on Peace Church Road claims the life of a 44-year-old man.
And we have an alert day today with strong to severe thunderstorms building as we head toward the late morning and afternoon. Break down those details for you coming up.
Plus, northwest Arkansas is hit with a major hailstorm that has caused damage to many cars and electric poles.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is a Monday. It's May the 19th, and we have an alert date in place because we are anticipating strong to severe thunderstorms as we roll into the afternoon and evening, and some of these could be significant across the area as well. So we are going to dive right in. First, of course, that look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. So far, we are good. We had a few lingering storms this morning. Thankfully, those have moved out and they didn't really do much. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good this morning as well. Let's talk about our severe threat for today because this changed at 1 o'clock this morning from what we were looking at yesterday. And unfortunately, it's not changed in a way that is favorable for us. So in terms of our tornado risk, we have the numerous to widespread across the area, and that also applies to the hail risk. And for both of these, the tornado and hail risk, we have these hatch marked areas indicating the potential for significant severe weather in either category. So this means the possibility of an isolated strong tornado. This also indicates the possibility of destructive hail across the area. And then we also have our numerous wind risk category, this red category here indicating 70 mile an hour or greater winds with the severe thunderstorms as we roll into the afternoon. So this is a threat that we have to take very seriously. Now this is, again, we talked about the day one outlook. This will update at approximately 8 a.m. If it updates earlier while we're still on with the KOAM News, Morning News on Fox 14, obviously we'll bring that update to you. Otherwise, you got to stay weather aware today. Make sure you got the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Make sure you have a way to receive alerts. Your phone is charged, and just pay attention. Timing-wise, there's still some question about possible storms this morning. If we get storms this morning, it'd be about 9-10 a.m., we could get isolated to widely scattered storms out in the west here across southeastern Kansas and eventually down into northeastern Oklahoma. Now, these storms would be isolated to widely scattered, but they will be an environment where they could intensify a bit. Otherwise, as we roll into the afternoon hours, that's when we're going to start to see more numerous thunderstorms develop. This is when our severe threat ramps up. It'll really begin to ramp up after about noon today, and that severe threat's going to stick with us with 2, possibly 3 rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms through the afternoon, evening, and overnight hours. And 24 hours from now, we could still have a few lingering strong, potentially severe storms as they begin to exit the area. Temperatures mild, 66 Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh. We're getting that southerly breeze back in, so that's bringing in warmer air, and that's going to bring in more moisture. Our dew point and our humidity levels are already slowly beginning to creep up across the area, and that's going to bring in more energy, more instability. And skies right now behind those thunderstorms we had this morning have cleared out, which means we're going to get the sunshine. We're going to get that opportunity to warm up. Kids heading to school this morning shouldn't be much of an issue. Upper 60s, south winds gusting to 25, and mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. By this afternoon, we want to watch this. Schools, I know, of course, you'll be watching these storms very closely. Parents as well. You've got to pay close attention as we roll into the afternoon because, again, by the time kids are coming off that bus, it's going to start to heat up across the area, and we're going to start to see those thunderstorm chances increasing. So, again, maybe an isolated storm or two around 10, 11 o'clock this morning in our western counties. Otherwise, the severe threat will begin to ramp up through the afternoon and into the evening and potentially overnight hours. And this could, again, be a significant severe weather event for our area. So you've got to pay close attention and make sure you're staying weather aware today. Of course, any new information comes in, any updates, we'll bring them to you, and we'll be tracking these storms as we roll through the afternoon. We'll have another full look at your forecast and what happens after these storms here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, storms made their way to the area yesterday afternoon. At around 4:20 p.m., cities in northwest Arkansas were hit with a major hailstorm. This video is from Tonytown, Arkansas, and shows how intense the hail fell from the sky. There are reports of hail damage to cars and electric poles, causing thousands of residents to lose power. One report shows a pile of hail that was measured at 17 inches. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, a man is dead after a single vehicle crash in Newton County. Early Saturday morning, reports of a single vehicle crash near Granby, Missouri alerted 911. A Jeep Cherokee was traveling east on US 60 and left the roadway to the right. The SUV overturned numerous times, ejecting the driver. The Jeep continued overturning and crashed up over the top of a car parked at a residence, then landed on top of above their ground pool. The driver, 28-year-old male from Diamond, Missouri, was pronounced deceased on the scene. Next of kin have been notified. Early yesterday morning, reports of a serious motorcycle crash along Peace Church Road north of Turkey Creek alerted 911. A northbound Harley Davidson had gone off the road, striking some trees. The male operator, Brett Hill, 44, of Oronogo, was pronounced deceased. Next of kin have been notified. So far in 2025, Troop D of the Missouri State Highway Patrol has recorded 41 fatalities. This time last year, that number was 38. Well, charges are brought against a McDonald County teacher for inappropriate relations with a student. The McDonald County Sheriff's Office was made aware that McDonald County High School teacher Joelle Stark of Anderson, Missouri, allegedly had an ongoing sexual relationship with a past student from 2016 to 2018. The prosecutor filed a second-degree statutory rape charges against Stark on Friday, and later a warrant for her arrest was issued. Stark turned herself in on Saturday. She later bonded out. The McDonald County R1 School District released the following statement. Quote, upon receiving this information, the district immediately placed the teacher on administrative leave following standard policy and procedure. The district says they are cooperating with law enforcement throughout the investigation. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Former President Joe Biden reveals his prostate cancer diagnosis has now spread to his bones. And we're tracking thunderstorms. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, breaking over the weekend. Former President Joe Biden has revealed that he was diagnosed with prostate cancer on Friday. In a statement, the Biden family says the cancer, quote, appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York on the 82-year-old former president's diagnosis and the reaction.
Former President Joe Biden and his family say they're reviewing treatment options after he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to his bones. In a statement, the Biden family says the diagnosis came after doctors found a nodule on his prostate when he was seen for increased urinary symptoms.
There's been tremendous progress in the treatment of prostate cancer over the last decade and a half.
Cancer doctors say there are effective treatments despite the 82-year-old former president's advanced age.
Patients, even who are diagnosed with more aggressive, more advanced stage disease, can live many years and have good quality of life.
President Donald Trump reacted on social media saying, Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We wish Joe a fast and successful recovery. Former President Barack Obama adding in a statement, nobody has done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all its forms than Joe, and I'm certain he will fight this challenge with his trademark resolve and grace. Mr. Obama was referring to Mr. Biden's Cancer Moonshot Initiative, aimed at better research, prevention, and care.
Let's end cancer as we know it. Cure some cancers once and for all.
The initiative was inspired by his late son Beau Biden's battle with brain cancer. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris also reacted to former President Biden's diagnosis on social media, saying, quote, Joe is a fighter, and I know he will face this challenge with the same strength, resilience, and optimism that have always defined his life and leadership. The former president's announcement comes as a new book detailing concerns over his health towards the end of his time in office is set to be released tomorrow. And still to come, a new study reveals alarming levels of harmful synthetic chemicals in packaged foods. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Monday forecast. Well, a team of engineering whiz kids set out to design a robot that would break the world speed record for solving a Rubik's Cube. And the robot didn't just break the record, it inhaled it.
Watch a robot solve a Rubik's Cube with world record-breaking speed. Did you see it? If not, it's because this marvel of a machine did it in a fraction of a second. A slow-motion replay shows the robot going through its series of motions that solve the confounding cube in the blink of an eye. The lightning-fast puzzle-playing bot is the brainchild of a team of engineering students from Purdue University who designed and created the robot, nicknamed the Purdubix Cube, to combine color recognition, custom-solving algorithms, and industrial-grade motion control. It was unveiled at a student design competition late last year where the team took first prize, and they've since taken it a step further to the folks at Guinness World Records, who confirmed the robot's Rubik's Rockin' time at a blistering 1/10 of a second, nearly 3 times faster than the previous record holder. Here's another fascinating feat that used cutting-edge technology to take a virtual time travel trip back to ancient Greece. Professor Juan de Lara at Wolfson College at Oxford set out to recreate the Parthenon in an effort to gain understanding of what the ancient temple's interior lighting may have looked like. Using 3D reconstructions and calculations based on physical simulations of light and its reflection, de Lara digitally recreated the structure's interior in stunningly accurate detail and simulated how its limited sun-sourced lighting may have interacted with its lavish ivory and golden appointments at different times of the day. The simulation was the culmination of 4 years of research that has successfully shed light on one of the world's most famous ancient landmarks. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got our alert day today. Strong to severe thunderstorms are on the way as we roll into the afternoon. We're going to break down the details and what happens after the storms when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News, morning news rather. It is now coming up on 5:20 on this Monday morning. We have an alert day in place because we have the potential for significant severe weather and potentially numerous strong to severe thunderstorms as we roll into the afternoon. So we're going to break down the threats as they stand right now. So we have the numerous to widespread threat for tornado. We also have it for hail. Then we have numerous wind for that category as well. We've also got these hatch marks for tornado and for the tornado and hail risks. The concern there is these hatch marks indicate the potential for significant hail and or a significant or strong tornado is a possibility across the entire region, with the greater risk where you see this purple color. Same on the hail, but large hail, so we're talking destructive hail, is a possibility, and we're talking about the possibility of a strong tornado. So that would be EF2 or greater. That's not saying that that is exactly what we're going to see. This is indicating that we'll be primed for these events with the storms this evening, or this afternoon rather, and then we have the same kind of risk level for the winds where we could see 70 mile an hour or greater winds. And then we have non-thunderstorm winds today as well that'll be gusting. All right, a lot to break down. Our threats are up there. This could be, again, a significant severe weather event as we roll into the afternoon. And again, these purple categories here were added at about 1 o'clock this morning. So that's why if you've been watching or been following the outlooks and the information over the last couple of days, you haven't seen it quite to that level because, again, this was updated early this morning and is due for another update at approximately 8 a.m. and we'll see what that update says as well. All right. Some scenarios in play where we could have 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 separate rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms. One of these, and this is the one that's most in question, is early this morning. Between about 9, 10 o'clock, could see some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms begin to develop across parts of southeast Kansas and eventually stretching back into the far western edges of northeast Oklahoma. This is a big if. These early morning storms, these mid-morning storms are a big if. If they can get going, they would intensify, or have the opportunity at least to intensify very quickly, becoming strong to severe. The greatest concern across the entire region will begin to increase as we head into the afternoon, where we get one initial round of storms. So this is the problem we're looking at too. Look at the timing here, 3 o'clock. Talking kids getting off the bus, heading home from school out in our western counties, southeast Kansas, down into Oklahoma. So Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Parsons, Coffeyville, down toward Veneta and Newada. We could see strong, honestly, just say severe thunderstorms with all hazards possible by about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Those will roll off to the east. So by 5 this evening, now we've got these severe thunderstorms, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, Lamar, Joplin, Carthage, basically right along and immediately to the east of the 69 corridors where this first batch goes. So that's the other thing. You see back behind, there's some clearing. We still have severe thunderstorms. Then we get another round later this evening of scattered severe thunderstorms out there, again with all hazards possible. Now by late evening, the greatest concern with these storms will start to transition to a wind threat, but the possibility of a QLCS or spin-up tornado, those ones that are embedded in the lines, which is what we saw through the month of April, it will still be there, but the wind risk will increase with any line of storms that we see roll through. After we get past that, we actually break out and we calm down for a little bit, but then early Tuesday morning, some additional strong, potentially severe thunderstorms will be possible very early tomorrow morning. So here we are at 5. We've got this cluster circling kind of back from Chanute, Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Joplin, Miami, down toward Veneta. These storms will exit fairly quickly by about 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. They'll be done. But that threat for strong, potentially severe storms will run through at least early tomorrow morning. And once we get past that, we're in great shape. Tuesday, skies begin to clear. It's going to be a bit breezy, and our temperature's actually a little cooler as we roll through our Tuesday. In fact, they'll be even cooler as we head into Wednesday. Take a look at our lows. Starting Wednesday morning, most of us into the low 50s, maybe some upper 40s out there as well. Well, partly cloudy skies Wednesday, but again, this opportunity to dry out and calm down after some, what could be, again, some intense severe thunderstorms as we roll into the afternoon today. Our Wednesday, though, looking fantastic. Tuesday, once we get clear of those storms in the morning, we're looking pretty good as well. The other concern we have also, flooding. We do have a flood warning for Bourbon County this morning, so again, remember, turn around. Don't drown. If you know your route takes you through flood-prone areas, plan an alternate route. Then outside of that, the eastern half of our area also under a flood watch. This runs through tomorrow morning, so we've got to watch for that potential for flooding. You saw those storms on the future track. Aside from the severe threat, they're going to be bringing very heavy rainfall, which again is what could potentially lead to those flooding concerns as we roll through today into tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. That's just one more thing you're going to have to focus on as we roll through the next 24 hours. Through this morning, again, partly cloudy. Again, maybe an isolated shower storm starting after 9. Most of us will be dry, and those storms this morning by mid-morning are a big if. And I want to emphasize that. They may not come to be. If they don't, that also just leaves that much more fuel and ingredients later for the storms this afternoon. But there's at least that chance we could see some mid-morning storms. We'll be into the upper 70s by 11 o'clock. Eventually, highs about 80. So some upper 70s, maybe some low 80s. Thunderstorms will begin to increase in coverage and intensity as we roll through the afternoon and into the evening hours. And we'll have non-thunderstorm winds out of the south gusting upwards of about 30. Same tonight, non-thunderstorm winds gusting to about 25 out of the south. Low 60s tonight. Thunderstorms, some of those very likely severe as we roll through the late evening hours and overnight tonight as well. Some morning storms as we discussed tomorrow. Could be strong, possibly severe, low to mid 70s. Then we get a nice break and even cooler weather for Wednesday and Thursday. But as we head into the weekend and next week, temperatures climb and our thunderstorm chances slowly begin to make a return to the area. But again, a big emphasis, you've got to make sure you're paying attention, you're weather aware as we roll into the late morning, afternoon, evening, and overnight hours here in the 4 states. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Lisa now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, synthetic chemicals in our food are becoming a growing health risk. A study by the Food Packaging Forum Foundation showed the highest levels of harmful synthetic chemicals are found in ultra-processed and packaged foods. Transportation, food processing, packaging, and food prep are the key times when those chemicals are able to access food. The study's authors say there needs to be tougher regulations on these chemicals in addition to safer food packaging. Well, there's growing evidence that Alzheimer's disease affects the whole body, not just the brain. A study on fruit flies by Baylor College of Medicine showed the disease can impact someone's sense of smell and even their metabolism and digestion. The findings could help lead to new treatments for Alzheimer's. Older women can benefit from eating more high-quality carbs and fiber. A study by Tufts University showed that for women over the age of 70, healthy aging can be boosted by eating more whole grains, fruit, vegetables, and legumes. Carbs from added sugars and refined grains led to lower odds of healthy aging. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, the 5th annual Shed Farm Homestead Festival offered a journey back to the 1800s.
And we have an alert day today. Severe thunderstorms likely as we roll into the afternoon, evening, and overnight. We'll break down the details coming up.
Plus, a Pitt State student graduates with 2 degrees after a journey of self-discovery supported by a close-knit community.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday. It's May the 19th, and we do have an alert day today because we have that possibility of not just severe thunderstorms, unfortunately, the potential for significant severe weather across the region, and that increased early this morning. We're going to break down those details for you right now. First, though, at look outside downtown Pittsburgh, we're looking pretty good. We had some thunderstorms from last night into the early morning hours this morning. They are gone, and they've left mostly clear skies back behind them. We take a look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. Got quite a few folks out there starting the day 5:30 in the morning. That's a lot more cars than usual. You can see the camera shaking because we have gusty winds as well. We're going to have non-thunderstorm wind gusts upwards of about 30 miles an hour out of the south today, but the thunderstorms themselves are going to be the greatest concern. So here's what's happened since yesterday. The severe threat has been kind of focused. It's been narrowed down with a greater severe risk added. Now, this purple you see here, this widespread risk for hail and tornadoes stretches down across eastern Oklahoma. So we're on the far northern edges of that higher risk, but we are still within it. That does, of course, include Joplin, Neosho, Anderson, Miami, Grove, Nowata, Bartlesville, Coffeyville, southern portions of southeast Kansas. So here's what we've got. This is essentially, as you can see, a 4 out of 5 risk for tornadoes and for hail, and then a 3 out of 5 for the wind. Let's talk about these hatch marks as well. That indicates the potential for significant severe. Breaking it down by threat, for hail, we're talking the potential for destructive hail. So we're talking very large hail. And in these hatch marks, unfortunately, it does indicate the possibility of a strong tornado, which would be EF2 or stronger. Now, I also want to emphasize this is not a guarantee of those exact events unfolding. This is indicating the storms we see today will have the possibility, they'll have the capability to produce these events. As for that wind threat, it's across the entire region as well, and it also is for winds that could be 70 miles an hour or greater. We could see, and this is another if, a few isolated to widely scattered storms begin developing after about 9 a.m., primarily in the southeast Kansas. That's a big if. There's a lot of disagreement on the computer models for these mid-morning storms. If they develop, they could intensify and become strong to severe with all hazards possible. Our greatest risk is going to start to increase rapidly as we roll into the afternoon and through the evening. Take a look at these storms by 4 o'clock today, and by 3, we're looking into parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, so kids getting off the bus today, this could be a serious concern, and they will continue with a couple of additional rounds late this evening into the overnight hours hours as well, with all hazards remaining possible. So it's something, get the KOAM Skywatch weather app, make sure your phone is charged, make sure you're staying weather aware. We're at 66, in Joplin right now, 65 in Pittsburgh. We have those southerly winds returning, bringing in warm, moist air. Our dew points are slowly rising, humidity levels rising. We're all pretty well sitting into the mid-60s. So kids getting on the bus this morning, not a big deal. South winds gusting to 25, partly cloudy, upper 60s. But by this afternoon, I know school districts will be monitoring. You've got to pay very close attention, especially in southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. Upper 70s, south winds now gusting to 30. Those are non-thunderstorm winds, of course. Temperatures today, upper 70s, low 80s, and again, thunderstorms begin to increase as we roll into the afternoon. We're going to have another full look at your forecast, break down the timing on these storms and what happens following these storms here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. So Pittsburgh State University continued graduation ceremony Saturday at John Lance Arena. KOAM's Mitch Adams has more.
The work done by Pitt State students this semester has finally paid off. Addie Hinterweger graduated with not one, but 2 degrees.
My journey's been incredible here. I came in as a freshman. I was, like Susan said, I was pretty scared and not sure what my path looked like exactly, but through my friends and mentors and professors, I kind of found my way.
Hinterweger said her college journey wasn't just about her education. It was also about finding herself along the way.
I used to kind of say no to things. I'd be afraid to take chances and risks, and through my journey here, my professors and other mentors have really encouraged me to say yes to things and, push my creativity and go beyond my comfort zone.
Being in Pittsburgh helped her find a sense of community and support as well.
The community and the college are so interconnected, and they're supportive of each other. You don't have a community like that in many other college towns in this area or even in the nation.
In Pittsburgh, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Classes will resume for Pittsburgh State's fall semester on August 18th of this year. Well, the 5th annual Shed Farm Homestead Festival took place Saturday, and for those looking to understand what it was like to live in the 1800s or even how to live sustainably now, the festival provides educational programs alongside all the fun activities. People had the opportunity to learn how to milk cows, weave on a loom, and learn about greenhouse production.
We hope that everyone will realize that the sustainable lifestyle, gardening, animal care, is part of what our history of this country was for years and years. And we hope that we're encouraging people to get back to that kind of lifestyle.
The price of admission for Saturday was $5. And as school comes to a close and the summer begins, many organizations are trying to kick off summer in the right way. Precious Moments in Carthage is doing just that with their summer kickoff event. Now, there was a little bit of something for everyone, including face painting, figurine signing, and live sculpture demonstrations. And that's a look at some of our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The House GOP budget plan advances, aiming to extend President Trump's tax cuts. Plus, New Jersey Transit reaches a tentative deal with the engineers union. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, the House GOP's budget package is one step closer to getting a full vote ahead of the party's self-imposed Memorial Day deadline. The bill advanced out of the Budget Committee late last night in a narrow 17-16 vote after 4 conservative holdouts voted present. The bill pushes President Trump's agenda of making his 2017 tax cuts permanent, partially offset by cuts to domestic programs like Medicaid, food stamps, and clean energy subsidies. Now, some conservatives argue the bill doesn't do enough to cut spending. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he hopes to bring the bill to the floor for a final vote by Thursday. Well, New Jersey Transit and the Train Engineers Union have reached a tentative deal to end their 3-day strike. More details on the agreement are expected to be released soon, though union leaders say New Jersey Transit did boost wages enough to help with recruitment and retention. The strike had disrupted service for around 100,000 daily riders Friday morning. The union says regular service will resume on Tuesday. And Final Destination Bloodlines had a killer weekend, topping the domestic box office with an estimated $51 million. Marvel's Thunderbolts dropped the second spot with more than $16 million. And Sinners rounded out the top three with over $15 million. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yes, we have an alert day in place today for severe thunderstorms that appear likely as we roll into the afternoon. And unfortunately, we could be dealing with significant severe weather. We're going to break down the details for you when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Goods from China could soon be flowing again into the U.S. An update in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. In the wake of the U.S.-China tariff truce, bookings for container transports from China to the U.S. have spiked almost 300%. Now, it comes after U.S. importers put the brakes on shipments after April 2nd. That's when President Trump announced plans to put 145% tariffs on goods made in China. Now, one German container shipping firm said last week its bookings were up 50% for U.S.-China traffic compared to the previous week. CNH is the latest ag equipment company to sign with Elon Musk's Starlink. The company saying it will bring industry-leading satellite connectivity to farmers. Now, CNH says Starlink will provide customers of Case IH, New Holland, and Steyr machines. Starlink uses a network of satellites in space that enable high-speed internet connectivity worldwide. Last year, John Deere signed a similar agreement with Starlink. And a Georgia woman adopted what she thought was a micro pig, but micro he certainly isn't. Meet Ollie. Teresa Ruddle originally saw Ollie advertised as a teacup pig. She thought her cute little piggy would remain 10 pounds forever, but she soon realized she had been conned as Ollie quickly grew to just under 200 pounds. Determined to give her larger than expected pet the best life possible, she adopted 4 more of the so-called micro pigs, so Ollie doesn't feel lonely. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Now let's head over to Chris for a full look at your forecast.
We have our alert day in place today for the possibility, if not the likelihood, of strong to severe thunderstorms, some of which could be significant. So again, some of you may be tuning in this morning, and this map looks a lot different than it did yesterday. It was updated at 1 o'clock this morning. It's due for another update about 8. But what's happened is we've added the Storm Prediction Center, rather, has added a level 4 out of 5 risk for tornadoes and hail across portions of the area. Now, this 4 out of 5 risk stretches down across eastern Oklahoma. So we're on the far northern and northeastern edges of it, but it nonetheless does include southern portions of southeast Kansas. It includes all of northeast Oklahoma and all of our communities there. All of Newton and McDonald counties, portions of Berry County, Benton County, and unfortunately does include the city of Joplin as well on both of these. These 2 risk areas are nearly identical in their size and shape. And then we have a level 3 out of 5 for the wind across the region, the damaging wind gusts. So first, tornado and hail. These hatch marks also indicating the possibility of significant severe weather. So for the tornado risk, that does unfortunately include the possibility of a strong tornado. So we're talking EF2 strength or greater. And then the hail here, the hatch marks indicate the possibility of tennis ball size hail or potentially larger. And then with the wind risk, we're looking 70, 80 mile an hour wind gusts. Now, I also want to emphasize, because I know this is a very scary thing to look at, and it sounds very scary. You want to stay weather aware. Is this a guarantee we're going to see a strong tornado or tennis ball size hail? It is not a guarantee. This is saying that the atmosphere will support this for storms that develop, but you can't 100% guarantee what a storm exactly is going to do, but it could happen, and it's something we've got to keep a very close eye on as well. Another if, and this has been an if since yesterday. I started watching some of the model data yesterday morning. We could get an isolated or widely scattered shower storm by about mid-morning, primarily in the southeastern Kansas. If this does unfold, and again, there's a lot of disagreement on the computer models about these mid-morning storms, they could intensify and become strong, potentially severe. The greatest risk is going to start to build in afternoon. We'll start to see supercell development, severe thunderstorms. The bigger concern right now is these time frames. From 2 to 3 o'clock is when this starts to ramp up. So we're talking kids getting off the bus. They're heading home. School districts, I know, will be watching this. And I know in some locations they have done early dismissals. Depending on what we're looking at, if we have any watches already going out, be prepared parents for the potential for maybe an early dismissal from some school districts out there with the arrival of these storms. The storms continue racing off to the east. By 5 o'clock, they're into southwestern Missouri now and still into portions of southeast Kansas, Oklahoma. So from Chanute, Parsons, Coffeyville, Veneta, and points east, still severe, still all hazards possible. Then we get some additional development later this evening of more strong, potentially severe thunderstorms. By 10 o'clock, this could form a line, in which case the risk for damaging wind gusts would increase with the line rolling through. Now you see also we clear out momentarily back behind this, and then about 2-3 a.m. we could get additional strong, potentially severe thunderstorm development that would roll through between about 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's something else to keep an eye on, because now we're talking kids getting on the bus, or talking heading to work, getting things taken care of. You've got to pay close attention to this. Now, once that clears out by about 6-7 o'clock tomorrow morning, for a while at least, we're done. Skies will begin to clear out by Tuesday afternoon, and we'll continue to see somewhat cooler temperatures actually for a couple of days before we heat back up heading into the upcoming weekend. A reminder, a flood warning, Bourbon County. If you know your route is prone to flooding, turn around, don't drown. And then for the eastern portions of our area, a flood watch that continues through tomorrow morning as well. So on top of everything, you saw those storms on Future Track. You saw how many of them there were. Flooding is also going to be a concern beyond just the severe weather. So again, maybe an isolated storm or two, but starting around 9-10 o'clock this morning. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies with clouds increasing, upper 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Non-thunderstorm winds out of the south gusting to 30, highs right about 80, and those thunderstorm chances increasing into the afternoon, evening, and overnight hours out there. Falling back to the upper 60s by 10 o'clock tonight, and then again after about 10-11, we get a break before we see more storms overnight toward tomorrow morning. Back into the low 60s, still breezy out there, still breezy tomorrow as well. Once we clear out Tuesday, low to mid 70s, low 70s, maybe even some upper 60s Wednesday into Thursday. And then the heat's back on, upper 70s, some low 80s heading through the weekend and next week, with a few additional thunderstorm chances next Sunday and Monday. Let's check your forecast. We're going to sit over to Lise now with a check of sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Gorillas baseball is just one win away from advancing to the NCAA Super Regionals. In their way is the hosting team and 6th-ranked team in the country, Minnesota State Mankato. And the Gorillas continue their dominant postseason play, scoring 10 runs and taking down the Mavericks 10-8. Pitt State scored at least 10 runs in all 3 of their NCAA tournament games. Up next, PSU takes on the number 3 team in the country and fellow MIAA member Central Missouri in the Super Regionals. The two teams face off in a best-of-3 series hosted by the Mules starting Thursday. The winner becomes the Central Region champion. Well, in the major leagues, the Royals and Cardinals close out the I-70 series. St. Louis goes for the sweep after winning the first 2 matchups. The Royals look to avoid their 5th straight loss, taking on the Cardinals in the 4th. Were scoreless until Alec Burleson drives this ball deep to center. It's out here and the Cardinals strike first. In the bottom of the inning, Kansas City has a runner on third, 2 outs. Darian Blanco drops one into the right, and the Royals tie it right back up. Then in the 7th, the Drew Waters pinch hitting lines one to the same spot. It rolls into the corner. He's racing to third, and he gets in with no throw to set up the inning. So next batter, Michael Garcia singles it to the right, and KC takes the lead. The Royals close this one out for the 2-1 win and salvage a game from the Red Hot Cardinals. That's Look at Sports. We'll be right back. Well, the San Diego Humane Society's care for an orphaned bear cub includes having the cub interact with a person in a bear suit. The cub was approximately 2 months old when it arrived at the Humane Society. Now it's the youngest black bear cub the San Diego Humane Society has ever taken in. Campers found the cub April 12th in Los Padres National Forest, southwest of Los Angeles. The care for the cub also includes having it play with a stuffed animal bear, and the goal is to return the cub to the wild.
All right, a reminder, we do have that alert day today for severe thunderstorms that are likely as we roll into the afternoon, evening, and overnight hours, potentially lasting through about, say, this time, maybe a little later tomorrow morning. So a lot to keep an eye on. All hazards are possible, and this could potentially be a significant severe weather event. So make sure you've got ways to receive weather alerts. Get the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can stream us, of course, YouTube and KOAM Plus for severe weather coverage as we roll through the afternoon and overnight hours across the 4 states. Between here and there, though, we're going to see a few clouds, low 70s at 8 o'clock this morning. And again, a very conditional chance of a shower or thunderstorm, mainly in the southeast Kansas by mid-morning, upper 70s by 11. Showers, thunderstorms becoming much more widespread rather quickly as we roll through the afternoon, and these are very likely going to become severe very quickly as well, so you got to watch it very closely. Highs at about 80, non-thunderstorm wind gusts pushing about 30 miles an hour. Thunderstorms continue through the evening and overnight. We get a pause between about 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. before we see another round of strong, potentially severe thunderstorms back in the low 60s. Those thunderstorm chances overnight tonight could last through about 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then we'll finally start to clear out. A little cooler the next few days as well. Low to mid 70s Tuesday. We'll go low 70s, maybe some upper 60s Wednesday and Thursday before we warm back up, rolling into the weekend with more thunderstorm chances by next Sunday and Monday. That's a quick check of your forecast. Got another hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.